Hey, everybody. Welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Live. Well, I had a guest tonight, and said person decided that they just, couldn't, whatever. And I have to be honest, this gets a little frustrating when people bail 45 minutes out because it gives me no chance to actually get a new guest on the show. And while I think I'm awesome and I love just yammering on all the time, it gets difficult to make stuff up as we go. So what I think I'm going to do is I had a post in Popular Unknown Paintball group uh, saying that my guest had canceled. And so what I think I'm going to do is if you go on to that, actually, you know what? Instead of that, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to create a public post that says, if you would like to join me live tonight, click on link, spell it with a K, below. All right. And what that'll do is that'll take you straight into the green room. And that means I've got a free for all. So if anybody that wants to join can. So, all right, we got Mark Davis says, I'll be a guest anytime. Thank you, Mark. Well, if you'd like to join me, I have posted up a link on my Facebook group. And you know what? I'm just going to, anybody that wants to join in tonight, let's just have a free for all. I think that just works for me. So while we're at it, before we go any further, let's give a quick shout out to Ultra Silk and the Al Remembered Foundation, Jelly Ball, Transfuse, and see if I can stretch paintball.media, which is the free online magazine. So anyway, I got 7 guests showing. Great. Yeah, so tonight is what it is. Okay, so somebody says Downward Flame, love to join. If you'd like to join when you get in, just click on the link that you'll find in my Facebook group and click on, and I'll just start adding people and cycling people through. And let's just generally have a big free-for-all. It is World Cup this weekend, so there's lots to talk about. I'd really like to hear about your favorite stories, the favorite times you had at paintball. That's why I started this podcast, was just because I really wanted to hear stories of people. And I don't think we have enough of those stories. So I would love to have those on. So if there's anybody out there that would like to join in, just give the link a click. And I'm going to put a comment in here as well. Says, any of you, whoops, hey, there we go, would like to join the show, click the link. And let me just make a quick link here, and bam. There we go. All right. So how is everybody doing tonight? Down to 5 guests. Why am I not surprised? I am excited, though, because I am now working on my new to me laptop. I was able to buy a used gaming laptop. Check this out. Oh, yeah, baby. So I was able to buy a used gaming laptop from 2017, and this thing rips. And I had a little bit of money left over, so I invested in a softbox. Now, I don't know if you know what softboxes are. One second. Never mind. Thought I could reach it. It's right here, and it's projecting some soft light. I'm getting the feeling that it's a little overdone, but I can't seem to. I don't have a proper stand for it to move it back and forward. So I will have that up and running for next week, but I just wanted to give it a try, and I might pick up a second one and then just distance them out a bit so we got some really nice lighting, and hopefully I will have a new camera in the near future, and hopefully that will improve the picture quality. And Downward Flame says, "Happy to see you up and running." Thank you, Downward Flame. I'm honestly happy to be here. And we got Alex Samosi saying, "Yo, Woods Ball has always been my favorite. Started playing when I was 14, 38 now. I can't stand respawn games because I think it takes away from the skill and the strategy." I would um I would agree with that for the most part. I mean, respawn games, the thing about a respawn game is they are good for field owners, and I assume that we are talking about rec ball. And the thing about a respawn game, and that you have to appreciate, is that it keeps you on the field, it keeps you shooting, it keeps you moving, and so you get a lot of solid play without having to stand around waiting. Now, me personally, I remember the time when we would get up at like 5, 6 stupid o'clock in the morning, drive for an hour, get to the field, and then we would relax. Games started at 9, and then you played until 3 or 4. Like, it was a full day, and I loved that. Um, Nowadays, when you go to a local fields and whatnot, and you've got respawn games, you're playing for maybe 3, 4 hours, which, eh, I missed the whole day and the experience of it and all. So I agree with you. But on the flip side of that, it really helps the field owners to have the respawn games and flip through and whatnot. So now I know a few field owners, actually I know more than a few, and they will argue that they'll open up at 9, but people don't show up till 11, and then it's a hassle to get anything. It just, anyway. All right, and we've got Richard Wilcox saying, "Good evening, Steve. I love the way you messed with Fred last night." I always mess with Fred. Like, he's got like this giant bullseye on him because, I mean, how do you go into the Paintball Hall of Fame as the most successful paintball marketer, I guess, promotions man in paintball? That's like getting an award for saying you got a big mouth. Anyway, Fred knows I love him, and yeah, I love messing with Fred, and I quite enjoyed doing the I quite enjoyed doing the prom- producer. That's what I'm looking for. Kind of enjoyed doing producer for Fred last night, having all the people in and just being able to pop up and like, where's Waldo? And then zipping out. I thought it was just fun. And Downward Flow says, "I've loved pretty much every format I've played other than Infected." Yeah, it's kind of more of a kids game. Kids really love doing that. And we got Mark Davis saying, "Where is this link?" Well, the link, actually, you know what? Let's post one right here. Bam. All right. So I just spam posted the link. And if anybody sees that and clicks on it, you give Facebook or StreamYard permission, and then you will show up in my green room, and then I will just add you as we go. And Downward says, "It's always fun seeing Fred get razzed a bit, isn't it? Though, especially when you're doing the razzing. I got to admit, I love messing with Fred. So, in any case, tonight, what I would really love to do is I would love to talk favorite stories of what you did when you were playing paintball. That's what I would love to get. So anybody that comes in the green room, that's what I'm going to be asking for, and that's where we're going to go. There is links posted in my Popular Unknown Paintball podcast group, which is on Facebook. It's easy to find. I mean, Popular Unknown Paintball podcast. How do you miss the hand, right? But, oh, we got Mark Davis here. He's just coming in. Before we get when he gets fully logged on, we got Scenario Paintball is by far the most amazing experience the game has to offer, especially a week-long event. I've enjoyed Scenario, but I wouldn't say it's by far the most amazing experience because when you get on a tournament and you get firing on all 8 cylinders with your whole team and everybody's just working together, and the intensity level of a tournament versus something played for fun is just a notch or 2 above. I'm not saying that Scenario Paintball isn't fantastic, because it is, and there's a lot of people and it gets really intense. But I gotta say, you gotta like, I love them both. Like, I can't say I like one more than the other, but the intensity of a tournament when you are playing with the right people, oh man, it's fun. Yeah, no, for you personally, and that's great. Like, you know what? You found where your home is, you're having fun, and that is awesome. I can't say enough great things. I am not, I'm not criticizing it any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying I'm not sure I quite agree with it like that. All right, so let's see. We got Mark here, but he's got no picture. So, Mark, are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, and you're gone. I could hear him, and then he went away. All right. So, Mark, if you're out there, click the link again. It was working great. You just didn't have a camera, and I didn't want to add you until I was mid conversation. So, sorry about that, but the link still works. If you want to click and come back in and talk away, please be my guest. And I haven't participated in many tournaments. And you know what? It's not for everybody. It's like MagFed. MagFed is not for me. Now, I have never played it, but I have very little interest. Now, if I get the opportunity, with the right group of people, I'm so down to play some MagFed, but I don't want to spend the money and invest into getting that gear. All right. So Mark Davis, just so you, okay, hold on a second, Mark. I see you there. Okay, Mark, don't click any more buttons.
Okay.
Okay, so I can hear you, you can hear me, and you can now see that you are up on the screen, but it doesn't look like you have a camera going.
Well, the camera on the phone's not working for some reason. I don't know what I did wrong or not doing right, but
Well, we can hear you, and that's just great.
yeah.
And we got somebody saying, I love talking paintball. Excellent. And we got Downward Flame, whoever that is, says be there in a few minutes. So excellent. Good to see you. So, Mark.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place you've played? Like
favorite place I played?
Yeah, favorite game.
Well, I played tournament from like 1983 all the way to 2014. So anywhere that I played that just hosted a good tournament and with fun fields to play, you know, stuff that comes in mind is like Sherwood Forest up in Indiana was always super fun.
Right. That's field. Where the new ICC is going to be.
Yeah, I've heard that. A lot of good fields in the Midwest because I like woods. You know, right. I'm not a big balloon ball field fan, you know, but sometimes that's all you have.
Yep.
There was a little field a long time ago in Iowa, the Quad Cities. It was a 3-story, 150 room, 8 stairway building. And we played indoor all through the winter in it. And that was some of the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Okay, so my concern with that is, wouldn't the stairs get really slick?
Oh, by God, yes, they did.
Like that's a safety concern on my part.
Yeah.
Like I'm not knocking it. Like I've played in chicken coops and I've played indoor in houses, but night games when you can't really see what you're shooting at.
Yeah.
And when you're on a floor where everything's slippery, I don't know. I like to have solid footing where I play. But that's awesome that you had a great time.
It was a really fun field to play. We played. It was a really weird tournament. There were 6 3-man teams, and you started in a stairway with a bucket, and in that bucket there was a flag, but it wasn't your flag, and you had to go around the building and find your flag and take it back to your bucket. So it was 3 on 18,
Okay.
and it was crazy.
So what was the name of this style?
It was just 3-man indoor paintball. They just kind of made this tournament up because that's the field they had to. That's the parameters they had. They just had a big indoor field, and we would drive for hours to get there. And we had a lot of fun doing it. We'd do it through the winter. Soon as in the Midwest, soon as you can play outside, you just want to play outside. But
Well, I'm in Canada, so I get it. Like,
but
I
our
understand.
but our team, we just wanted to play. We wanted to play all the time, and when there's snow on the ground and everything, we would seek out indoor fields. And
Right.
that was before the blow up fields, so indoor fields were pallets and barrels and concrete and
Hay bales.
hay bales, and they were all a mess, and they were never cleaned properly. But it
Oh,
was
and the smell was just something else, wasn't it?
yeah. But we ignored all of that because we just loved playing.
Right. All right. So you started playing in 1983, and you played tournaments all through. What were some of the teams that you played on, Mark?
I played almost exclusively on the Scorpions.
Okay.
Yeah, out of the
Cool.
Midwest, in fact, 2018, 2019, we won the NXL 5-man mechanical series twice, 2 years in a row.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what were some of the big sponsors of the Scorpions back in the day?
We didn't have a bunch. We all shot autocockers that we all paid for.
Nice.
And our team was kind of funded by ourselves. We had a field that the owner of the field played with us, and we would host tournaments, and we would take that money and we would use it to pay for events. And then if we went to events and won, which I'm not bragging, but we did win a lot,
Right.
then we would take all of that money that we won, be it prizes or whatever, and put that in a big pool and use that to go play other tournaments also.
And you guys were, I assume, amateur?
Yeah, amateur. We were focused for a while by Focus. Remember them out of Canada?
I do. Jay Muncaster's a friend of mine.
Yep. And the one year, you could ask Jay, the one year that the Skyball kind of went sideways, it was my teammate Tim that actually redid the schedule and kind of saved the event for Adrian, because everything that year, that was the year that they almost ran out of air. Right. So it was that year, and the scheduling got all messed up because the computers crashed or something. And Tim sat down with some paper and figured out a schedule and made the event happen. I don't know if it happened perfectly, but
no event happens perfectly.
Yeah.
This is paintball. There is no perfect.
No. And I miss the old days of like I ref the 96 Chicago Open.
Right.
I still have the t-shirt. And
Nice.
And I miss that era of paintball where it was autocockers and automags and in the woods, and people sticking their empty hoppers or their empty pods into holes in the bunkers to keep from getting hit and stuff.
Yep.
I miss all those days. I appreciate the blow up fields, and I appreciate that style of ball, but it's just not my style of ball.
Well, that the WCPL is bringing that style back, right?
Yeah. And I played a couple of the ICPL events here in the past years too, and I enjoyed them. They were fun.
Yeah. Well, the ICPL is great. I'm not in any way, shape, or form putting that down at all. Up until recently, though, they were, I have to say, they were extremely lacking in events, because there'd be like 3 events or 2 events for the whole year, and you were stuck to it, right?
Yeah.
Like you had to either compete all of them. Like it was just, I don't know. And now the WCPL is coming out, which is Woodsball or World's Woods Ball. I don't remember what it's called. It's Woods Ball something or other.
Right.
But they put up they're putting out 5 events, and now you've got the ICPL going, oh crap.
Right.
And they're now putting 4 or 5 events out as well, which is just great. I think
Yeah.
that's
And then you're
awesome
gonna
for paintball. And I
and then
think that
two
the
ICCs.
go ahead.
And 2 ICCs, right?
No, there's just one ICC. To my knowledge, I could have heard something new could have happened, but
So
basically the Iron City Classic has moved from its home because the field just can't handle the ICC anymore with the new highway in place. They've lost all the parking, and there was too many teams that
yeah,
couldn't get in because it was selling out so fast. So the Iron City Classic has now moved to Sherwood, which is hallowed ground for paintball. Like
yeah,
it doesn't like nothing against the old field.
right.
But with everything going on, they just decided that they had to make the shift so that they could make the event bigger and
Have you
accommodate
been there?
everybody.
Have you been there lately?
To Sherwood,
Yeah.
I've never been there before in my life, and I am looking forward to it.
Very clean field. You know, they do a lot of groundskeeping there.
Right?
And when I used to play there, the guys that owned it had a deal. I don't know the exact relationship, but loggers, people who were cutting down trees, would transport these giant tree trunks there, and they were using them as bunkers. And
Cool.
it was awesome. And I think they still have that.
That would be wicked. Okay, so there's a question by Alex Samoski saying, "Did you ever play against Bad Company of Maryland?"
I don't remember if we played Bad Company, it would have been at one of the before the NXL. What is it, PSP, and before that it was something else, right?
Well, it was the NPPL,
Yeah,
and then the NPPL and the PSP, and they were working together. And
we may have
then
played Bad Company at World Cup. We didn't go to too many of the big 10-man events because for us, 10-man was just really hard to field the team.
cool. Oh, we got Brandon Melvin joining us. Hey, Brandon.
Hi, how's it going?
Excellent. What shirt are we looking at there? It says Nighthawk. Is that the team name?
Yeah, it's my team jersey. Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. I play out at Nighthawk Paintball out by Spokane, Washington.
Nice, awesome. John Amadea just chimed in. Company. So that's awesome, John. Glad to see you.
Yeah, and my
the show. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead,
my
Brandon.
my YouTube name is Downward Flame, so I just made it home.
Fair enough. Well, it's great to have both of you on. And like they said, everybody else out there, if you go on my Facebook group, you will see I've posted up a couple links. And this is an open free-for-all. Anybody that wants to join, just come on in, and we'll have you. So, Brandon, I shouldn't say when. Sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied here. This is a complete free-for-all tonight, by the way. I just don't care. Professionalism, gone. When was your favorite game that you've played, Brandon?
That would probably be the yearly Nighthawk Armed Forces War.
Okay.
They do a game where it is it's kind of a scenario, but it's a kind of a hypothetical. It's Army versus Navy versus Marines versus Air Force. You've got 4 different teams on about a 40-acre field with all kinds of different woods, buildings, trenches. There's even a mounds field out in the middle now. But yeah,
where's this located?
Just outside of Spokane, Washington.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yep, I think that's been my favorite game. Next year I just kind of got in with the team and everything, so next year I'm wanting to make it to Super Game Oregon and see how that goes.
That will be cool. I really wanted to go this year, but with COVID restrictions and stuff, it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I had a whole lot of invites to go.
Just to rep the Nighthawk thing a little bit, the owner, Dale, is going to be one of the generals at Super Game Oregon next year. So cool. I have to make that trip.
Well, you don't have to, but it's impressive. So Mark said something earlier. He was playing when he was playing indoor
Mhm.
at this big building. They had I forget how many teams he said, but it was 3-man teams, and there was like 21 people or whatever it was. So it was like 3 on 18, and they would put flags in buckets around. But the flag that was in the bucket at your station wasn't your flag. So you had to go and try to figure out which bucket had your flag and then get it back to your own bucket. I'm loving this idea. I'm thinking
Yeah,
this
that's
is
pretty neat.
brilliant. I don't know why we like this. This needs to be a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very cool. It is kind of fun.
For paintball rules, Mark, thank you so much for telling me about this, because that's brilliant. Like,
it could be
it
done
just adds levels and layers.
It could be done in the woods very easily.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. Like, I mean, I think that, like, they talk about mag-fed tournaments, and I'm having a hard time with mag-fed in tournament. That I'm not trying to bash mag-fed players out there. Please don't think I'm trying to bash it, but it just doesn't lend itself to be high speed. That being said, this new bucket theory, that would be mag-fed. I'd play that. Like, mag-fed, you have to go out, go hunting, find your flag. You have no idea what station your color, your thing is, and you got to go out stalking and find it. That's a mag-fed competition. That's one I want to play.
It would be cool.
Wouldn't it? What do you play, Brandon?
I play a little bit of everything. Nighthawk is mostly a woods field, but he's working on setting up a kind of a smaller 3-man speedball field, and we've been doing some practices out there. So.
Cool.
Try to get into some more somewhat local tournaments.
You specifically, what's your style of play? Like, I mean, we all play a little bit of everything, more or less, but ultimately,
I'm a hard charger. I like to get in their face. I end up playing Snake most of the time.
Fair enough. So you're more electric, or are you mechanical, or?
I'm a little bit of everything. We kind of started as a mech team,
right?
So I've got actually got it right here. I shoot a Seattle Thunder Shocker XLS with an Adrenaline CVO frame.
Oh, nice. Sweet.
That's my primary these days anyway.
Cool.
Coming up, I mean, I started playing in 06 or so, and I was always a spider guy because everything was CO2 that we had local. So
right. Awesome. So, can you tell I'm a professional?
Yeah. You're not the only one. I have that problem too.
It's one of those days, and I don't care. I am happy just to be up, and I'm happy to have my new laptop and the new lighting. By the way, anybody out there, what do you guys think of the lighting? Am I coming a little bit clearer? I'm feeling like I'm a little bit overlit, so I'm like.
It looks
good, but yeah, you might be a little bit overlit on the one side.
On this side?
Other side. I was thinking it looked a little brighter on that side.
Wait, this is like black, and this is like glowing Millennium Falcon.
Oh, looks good.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, we'll get better. And Robert Hansen says, I look much cleaner. Awesome. By the way, is that a Browning hat that you're wearing, Brandon?
Yes, it is.
My Browning hat is right over there.
Well, it was what my local Sportsman's Warehouse had that was flex fit and somewhat not neon colors.
Fair enough.
Because when you're playing paintball, the last thing you want is open forehead.
Right. I actually made myself my own. It's a sling, really. Back when I started playing, and Mark'll attest to this because he played back in like 1983. But back in the late 80s, well, in the 80s period, to the early 90s, we had to make up all our own stuff. And one of the things around here, anyway, is we would get a hold of Army surplus slings that were just like a plain green, and you would tie it up and you'd have this giant tail that would hang down the back. But this stuff would wick sweat so much better. Mark, do you remember those?
No, not a. Personally, I always just wrapped a T-shirt around my head.
Fair enough. I've seen that too. Now, when you say you wrapped a T-shirt around your head, did you like just stick the neck halfway down and then tie it up at the back? Like, was that the way you did it?
No, I literally just made, just put the T-shirt over top, made kind of a headband for my forehead out of it, rolled it up, and then tied it in the back so that the back of the rest of the T-shirt just hung down. We were a big Bushland team. We wore a lot of Bushland.
Right.
And, we had Bushland everything. We even bought Bushland material and sewed it onto our Vents goggles.
Right.
On the plastic part, and glued Bushland to our hoppers. We were really hard to see in the woods back then.
Yeah, except for until you moved.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big lie about camouflage. The human eye sees movement before it'll see color.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you're in the woods wearing something other than blaze orange, chances are, if you're staying still, the human eye is not going to see you. But the minute that you move, all guns are on you.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is.
Definitely.
Now, Tiger Stripe, and the reason why it's so successful, and not only if it's like a really wide pattern, is Tiger Stripe actually confuses the eye when you're moving because it's a wide horizontal pattern. And if you can keep evergreen trees between you and who you're seeing you, like if you use your terrain to your advantage, because it's a wide pattern, it actually looks like the trees are just moving a little bit, and the human eye disregards it a little bit. I've read studies.
Makes sense.
No, seriously, there was a huge article, and I want to say it was in Soldier of Fortune magazine back in like the early 90s. I don't remember. I read a crap ton of everything. But it was, effective camos, and I was like, oh, well, let's read that. I'm all out of paintball magazines. And that was one of the things they said. A very wide, aggressive, horizontal camouflage pattern can actually help hide movement. It's not very good if you're staying still, but if you're a run and gun kind of player or you're constantly moving, that is it. You don't have to raise your hand, Brandon. Just like start throwing elbows and chime in.
It's all right. Yeah, I tend to be a more in your face, get as close as I can kind of player.
Cool. So everybody out there, just so you all know, this is a complete free-for-all. And so if you have any questions, feel free to post them up. Anybody on the show, if you want to ask questions, feel free to ask them. Just start throwing elbows and just dig in there. But I've also put a link in Popular Unknown Paintball Podcast, where if you want to get in this show, just click on the link and you will show up in my green room, and I will just bring you up and add you. So if you guys want to be part of the show, you are welcome to, and I'd love to have you. Because my guest tonight bailed on me 45 minutes before the show started, and yeah. So, okay, so I have a question. So, Mark, you've played with just about everybody. Who would you have loved to played with or against, or like, who would you have loved to share the field with that you didn't get the opportunity to, other than me?
I think it would have been cool to play with the original Iron Men.
Now, are you talking Michael
Long's
Baird's dad, or are you talking Bob Long's Iron Man?
Bob Long's Iron Man.
Okay, that was the second incarnation, not the original.
Yeah. The I always, when I was young and in the sport, that was a group of guys that we all looked up to, right?
Right.
And then another team. And as you know, I worked in and around Aftershock for a number of years.
Okay.
I was just never, I wasn't quite the alpha personality that was required to be on that team, but
they are hard chargers, aren't they?
Yeah. They know forward.
Yeah. And God bless them for it. Like,
Yeah.
they were a powerhouse because, like, that's why, and they're successful, and more power to them. Like, not all teams are for everybody, but yeah, they are just, Aftershock is something else.
Yeah, I always appreciated Bob Long's crew. I don't, I don't really know. We won a lot as a team, and and I know that what it's really about is being part of your team, right?
Right.
Creating your team, and we had a good thing going when we put our team together. So for us, it wasn't so much about who I would have liked to played with. I would have liked to guested with a team at some point. It'd have been
Right.
cool to guest with Aftershock at some little event or whatever, but they didn't play little events.
Right.
But it
Well,
was
they
more
did.
about-
They just used them as practice events.
right. Well, and I can tell you a story about that. Most people don't know.
Fire
The
away.
Scorpions used to have, we'd run 3 or 4 tournaments a year at Sudden Impact Paintball in Illinois.
Okay.
And every fall, either late October, November, it was always after World Cup, we would have a 10-man event, and it was $500 to get in, and all woods ball. And we would invite Aftershock to come down. They didn't have to pay. They didn't have to pay any entry fee. They could bring their own paint, and they just got to play and have fun. And the deal was they couldn't win the event, but they could just come down and play and have fun, right? It kind of
Right.
the end of the year, just get together for them. And the other deal was that every team would get to play Aftershock one time.
Okay.
And if you ask Danny or Rennick about it, they'll tell you that was probably the most fun they had all year.
I bet. Well,
Right.
the
Sounds like
pressure's
a lot of
off,
fun.
and they can just play to play.
Yeah, and it was, not a far drive for them. It was maybe hour and a half from Badlands. And we enjoyed having them, and they were super cool to everybody. And, they stomped everybody, so it wasn't even a competition. But
Right.
it was fun to say you got to play Aftershock,
Absolutely.
right? And Aftershock just loved playing it. So, and it was a good field. It was a fun field to play.
Awesome. We got Fred Schultz in the house saying, "What's up?" Well, Fred, my guest bailed, and so I've got a free-for-all going on. So Mark Davis and Brandon Melvin has joined me, and I posted links on my group. So Fred, if you want to jump in, you are more than welcome to as well. As a matter of fact, everybody out there that's washing, everybody else out there that is watching the show, feel free to click one of the links that you can find in the Popular Unknown Paintball group, and we will see you shortly.
I'm going up to my studio, so I'm gonna try and get off my phone and actually get onto the laptop that has the
Camera?
camera.
All right, dude. Well,
Yeah.
you know how to find us because
Yeah.
you got the link and you were here.
Yep, I'll be back
So-
shortly.
If you're back shortly, great. If you're not, thank you for stopping by.
No, I'll be back shortly. Don't worry.
All right.
Give me
See you
a
soon.
minute. Okay, bye.
So what about you, Brandon? What if there was somebody that you wanted to play with or have a chance to play with,
Mhm.
who would it be other than me? Because
Oh, I'm
obviously
down to-
me.
I'm down to play with pretty much anybody. I mean,
Right.
I don't have like a lot of I don't know, a lot of big names. I guess I think it'd be really cool to play with you and Fred. I think that would be fun.
I think it'd be cool to play with Fred too. I've never actually played beside him. Now my teammates, the Booney Boys, they actually used to be part of Constant Pursuit back in the late 90s. But I personally have never played alongside Fred. I've met Fred a couple times at Skyball back in the late 90s. And then most of my friendship with Fred has been online. Ah, crap. Princess is here. Brandon,
What's up, man?
meet my good friend, Rob Hansen. Rob, meet Brandon, my new good friend.
How's it going?
What's going on, Brandon? Figured I would just stop in and say hi. You're looking for people to shoot the shit.
You know what? I just want to have some fun on the show, and so I figured, let's let's make it a free for all. Let's just let anybody that wants to get on. Let's get them on. Let's just talk about our favorite things in paintball. I mean, how often is there an open invite to absolutely everybody out there on the planet to come talk?
Yeah, I couldn't miss out on that opportunity.
Right? Oh, somebody said, "What is your favorite paint to shoot?" I don't personally have a favorite at this time. Most of the paint that I've been shooting has been tournament paint lately, and as everybody out there knows, or if you don't know, you should. Tournament paint is usually the best paint that exists because it's always fresh, so that people can appreciate it. But I haven't had any bad experiences with ProShar at a tournament. So actually, somebody just said, Bradley just said ProShar. I love ProShar. I think it's fantastic. I don't get it much locally up here. I wish I did. But yeah, and Falcon around here is pretty decent.
Falcon shoots great. Getting it to break is another issue. That graffiti's like shooting rubber balls.
Yeah, I shoot Valken New World probably most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. It's just
the old Hellfire used to be great.
All Diablo paint used to be great.
Yeah.
After 3 years, the first 3 years of Diablo, footballs were rounder.
Well, you've got to work out the bugs, you know.
Yep. But we were up in Canada, so we got the worst of it, I think.
I'm going to go back in time and say my favorite paint ever was Nelson.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, I've heard good things, but you think Nelson was better than RP Schreier?
Well, it was way before. I mean, I was shooting Nelson before RP Schreier was a company.
Well, RP Schreier paint maybe, but RP Schreier was
they're a pharmaceutical company. But when we started playing, Nelson was kind of the paint, and then later PMI started, and then they started coming out with paint. The Marbleizer that they used to shoot in Evil was awesome, but man, that Nelson paint, the Nelson Red that they banned, after a period of time, that stuff shot so good.
Well, yeah, but wasn't that stuff still like petroleum based? You need turpentine to get it off your crap?
In the beginning it was, but after that, then no,
Just
it wasn't.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go back, but we go back that far, and that's just not paint anymore.
Yeah, when I didn't play very long with the oil-based paint. It turned to non-oil-based pretty quick, but it was always really good quality and really round. And of course, it would fit in a 9.2 barrel. It was big,
right?
So, I mean, today I bought the smallest sizer. I think it's a 7.5, and I had paint rolling out of that the other day at the field.
What size? What brand of sizer is that?
Smart Parts or GOG, whatever it is. Yeah.
I thought you could get 7.5 is the smallest.
I think 6.75 is. I don't know. I bought the smallest one I found, and it was 6.
I thought there was a 7.3 as well.
There might be
wrong. Don't quote me on that.
But paint's just gotten super small.
We got John Hogenkamp saying love speedball, excellent, and we got Kathy Alvarez of the Valkyrie saying hi everyone. Hey Kathy, good to see you.
Hey, everybody's talking about small paint. It's like I've never used anything smaller than a 6.85. Everything seems to be going good. Yeah, 6.85, 6.87, even 6.89.
Wow.
I seem to be putting everything through an 8.2 right now, 6.82. I don't even take it out of the back of the barrel anymore.
Nice. Okay, Mark, what are you doing? Because it looks rude.
I'm sharpening one of the graver tools.
Okay, because it looked like you were doing this.
No, I gotta.
So let's not do that.
I gotta sharpen them on a. You know my pastime.
So I talk to maybe a few hundred people.
I do this stuff.
Yeah. So now I know who you, Mark.
Yeah.
Dude, your stuff is amazing. I'm glad I got a chance. Now I know who you are.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't like. I recognized the name. It was just like I loved what you did for the shocker for Justin Owen. That thing was wicked.
That was a fun gun to do.
That's just oh. I want you and I are gonna have to talk. Oh God, that's so gorgeous.
That is awesome.
You and I are gonna have to talk off air, so I can find out if there's any way I can get something custom done like that for myself. Because
absolutely you can.
That would just be sweet, sweet, sweet. Actually, you know what would be really cool is if I had like a freak back. Just have the freak back engraved, and then that way I could just, I don't know, that would be, because that would go on everything. You could swap tips, and it would just, that would be cool. Oh, Kathy Alvarez said, that's sick. I assume she means that in the good, the good way. So what got you started engraving stuff, Mark?
Since I was a kid, I've always been, I was raised by my grandpa, and my grandpa was a big fan of cowboys, and I was raised in a small local museum, so there was stuff that was engraved in there, and I've always just appreciated engraving. So about 6 years ago, I decided, well, now's the time. If I'm going to do it, I need to do it. So I took out a loan and bought everything you need to buy to do it, and I've been engraving ever since, and it's kind of my life. It's, I work all day and come home, feed the dogs, and engrave all night,
So, okay, so I have a question for you here. You took out a loan to buy what you needed.
Yeah, like this, for example, this scope right here.
Right.
That scope's $3,000. Right. And then the vise, I have 2 vices. The ball vices are, my cheap one was $1,100. My bigger one was $1,700 just for the vise, right? And then you got to buy the little tool, and that's $1,000. And I got 2 of those, and then I have this is a Dremel tool, right? But it's a $1,500 Dremel tool that jewelers and dentists use,
right?
You're starting to make paintball sound like a cheap hobby.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, but the turnaround is, I sold a gun in January that was $6,500. And I got paintball guns sitting here right now that guys are willing to spend $2,000 and $3,000 to have engraved. So the market's there. I can do real guns. I have a federal firearms license, and I can do real guns, but I don't do very many because I enjoy the paintball guns, and I enjoy paintball, and I'm not going to limit myself. I will do a real gun, but I don't do very many because I just, I have a name in paintball, and I just did a gun for Dynasty. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
I didn't see that one.
I haven't.
They put it up on the Hormesis page. It sold out in 10 minutes, literally just sold to a guy. It was a pretty good deal. It was the gun, their new gun, and then some jerseys and Hormesis headband and all that stuff. But it sold for $3,500. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. So you said it was on the Hormesis?
Yeah, it was on the Hormesis page. They don't really show off the engraving. It shows off the engraving a little, but not much.
Sorry, just to clarify, are you talking about the Hormesis owners group?
No, it's on the actual Hormesis page. If you go to Mark Davis Hand Engraving on Facebook, there's a picture of it on there.
Okay.
And I hope to be able to do another one. That one sold real fast. I think Dynasty has I think their gun is really popular, and it's hard for them to keep them in stock. So I just have to get on the list and hopefully get my hands on a raw one so I can do all my work. And but I think first of the year I'll probably get a raw one from them, do another one.
Sweet. All right, so let's take a. All right, so let me just work some magic here. So we're going to share a screen. And we don't want sound. We want Chrome tab, and we want Facebook. And bam, there we go. So
that's the back block for the body I just showed you. So if you
All right.
scroll down,
So there's the grips that you did, which are some grips you did, which are sweet.
Yeah.
And this is the back block for the body that you were just working on.
yeah,
Okay. And we
there's
got,
there's the Dynasty gun right there.
so that's actually engraved because it doesn't show very well in the picture.
Yeah, it's. I did. So it's got the Dynasty logo, the double dragon logo that covers the whole top of the gun. And you're not going to see it in that picture because they didn't really display it well. And then it's got on the hand grip, there's also 2 dragon heads. On the back cap, there's a dragon head. And then on the grip frame, I did a little decorative stuff on the grip frame.
Gotcha. All right. Well, still very, very cool.
Yeah. They liked it, and I think they're happy that it sold so fast. So
I bet. And those guns are absolutely wicked.
I hear
I love the shockers, but yeah, those Field 1 guns are just awesome. So
I haven't had a chance to shoot one.
I beg your pardon?
I said I haven't had a chance to shoot one. There's not very many people in this area that shoot either Field 1 or Bob Long.
Oh no. Well, Bob Long doesn't exist anymore. It was sold.
Well, the old stuff, I mean.
Right.
It's like there might be, I think, one guy with an old Intimidator, and that's it.
Right.
He doesn't come out very often, so it's like I haven't had a chance to mess with him much.
Fair enough. So, okay. I'm having a day, guys. I'm sorry. It's just been a day. I'm just excited to actually be back up online, a laptop I can trust, a little bit of cool lighting. I'm going to have to work on that, though. I think I'm a little overexposed. What do you guys think?
No, it looks good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't look too white?
No.
No.
No, I think the picture looks fantastic. It's much better than it was, I think.
Excellent.
You're Canadian, not South American, so shouldn't have too much of it.
Easy now. Easy. So,
Hey, if
so
I'm
is there
shooting
any more
Electro,
stuff that ooh, there you go.
that's
What's
what
that?
I run. That is the MacDev Cyborg 6.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed using a MacDev at World Cup last year for a little bit.
It shoots great. I've only had a little bit of time. I've only played with it a couple times. I just picked it up a little bit ago. So.
Nice. Oh.
Yeah,
What's your gun that you like to shoot now, Mark? Or are you mostly just doing engraving?
Oh, my main gun is Mark V autococker.
Sweet. Oh yeah. Which one's the Mark V?
You know what? Let me run down and get it, and I'll show it to you because you haven't seen it.
Okay. Thank you, everybody that,
really cool.
that came out to join me. I beg your pardon?
I said, knowing him, it's going to be something really cool.
Well, I've heard of a Mark V. I'm not quite sure which that is. There's so many autocockers out there now.
Well, with the engraving he does, it probably doesn't look anything like the original.
Yeah, no kidding.
Very well could be.
The only thing I've got engraved is laser, and it's this guy.
He keeps pulling stuff up.
Yeah,
right, so
I grabbed.
Show that a little closer to the screen there, my friend. All right, so that's tiger stripe engraved.
Yeah, it's good. Just a tiger stripe laser job on it.
Cool. So it was green originally, and what kind of gun is that?
That is the Azodin KTC pump.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
I wanted to give pump a try, so I grabbed the $150 cheapie to give it a shot.
And they shoot great. Like, I know a lot of people will say you have to have a more expensive gun because blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, when it comes to pump guns, as long as it's relatively smooth, and you can do a little bit of tweaking here and there with making things a little extra smooth and whatnot. But ultimately, at the end of the day, a pump gun's a pump gun's a pump gun. Yep. Oh, we got Bill Bailey saying, "Hey guys, hey Bill, good to see you."
So here's the first one.
All right.
And this is the workhorse. Bud Orr gave me this gun in 1991.
All right, hold on one second. Let me this we got to see. All right.
So
Ooh.
that's the workhorse.
Okay.
It's got a custom Danny Love adjustable cap for a War Games reg. And I tell young kids I've shot more people by accident with this than you'll ever hit on purpose. And then my other gun. So I use this one a lot.
All right.
That's a 98 Evolution with a little bit of engraving on it. That's one of the first guns I ever engraved. And you're going to notice that they're all right feed. This one's pretty stock.
Right.
Except for the trigger shoe that I designed with Master Stoney.
Okay.
And it's a flat, really wide, flat trigger shoe.
Okay. And why do you do that?
I shoot real guns, and in real guns, wide, flat trigger shoes are kind of a thing.
Okay.
On pistols. And I remember back in the day, Mike Bruno and some of the guys would try and steal the trigger shoes off of the Pro Comp. You remember that gun?
No.
Okay, so it was I don't remember who made it, but it had this really wide triangle-shaped trigger shoe that they all wanted, and Danny would alter them and put them on their cockers because they just like that wide trigger shoe so that they're,
right.
So they didn't want the curvy one. They just wanted a flat thing to hit. So me and Rich from Master Stoney came up with that, and they're on his page, and I put them on my guns when I make them.
We got John saying Speedball is my favorite, fun and high paced. I think that's the second time he's mentioned it, so I just want to make sure I popped it up there. So,
and then this is the main gun.
Oh wow,
that's just sweet as heck.
Yeah,
nice.
Like that's just.
And that's a Mark V. That's a Mark V machining.
Oh, okay.
All my bodies have those same cuts. And I built these. I started at Paintball Mania in '95, and my guns have pretty much been this ever since then.
Okay. Cool.
So
and Bill Bailey says, "Oh yeah, that's hot."
Bill Bailey got to see that one on purpose up in Illinois in September.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so for everybody out there, if you don't know, my guest canceled, and so I put an open free for all. Anybody that wants to join in on the chat, you guys are welcome to. I put links, like open links, in Popular Unknown Paintball Podcast group. Just find it, click on the link. I'll see you in the green room, and I'll bring you up. Like so. All right, so let me just stop that screen. There we go. All right, so Brandon, you look like you've been like a deer in the headlights. It's like you got a great big thought going on. Are you like trying to say, how do I exit out of this thing now? Or like, is if you want to bail, go. If you got a question, fire it at me. But you're just sort of like,
all right. I was just kind of enjoying the conversation and the eye candy there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I am too, actually. I am so glad you're on, Mark. That's just great.
Yeah.
All right, we got.
I appreciate you.
I don't think I've ever been called eye candy before, Brandon. Thanks.
It's talking about the guns, but yeah.
And he's gone.
Well, last time I was on, you told me I had a big head, Steve. So
you do have a big head.
I'm telling you, it's the length of the beard.
Uh-huh. All right, so first of all, we got William Belling saying, I touched it. Yeah. I assume he's talking about the Mark V autococker and not Hansen's beard.
Yeah.
And
I haven't
Jeff
met Bill
Thompson
in person
saying,
yet.
can you make my stock cocker look like that?
Yes.
Mark, I'm assuming that's going straight to you.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. And do you have any suggestions on improving my snap shooting?
Practice.
Yeah. Repeat.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it.
Well, right. I'll tell you two things.
An old gravity-fed hopper shell. Set something, a wall up in front of you, and shoot it.
Go ahead, Mark.
The other thing is to videotape yourself. Have your buddy videotape you and analyze that video, because you'll see what you're doing wrong, and that's a advantage that we have today that I don't think enough people use is go out there and practice, set yourself up, do some snap shooting, but set up your camera or have your buddy videotape you and see what you're exposing first, and analyze yourself. That's the best way to get better at it.
Nice. Now, Jeff Thompson, just so you know, if you want a link to join, to come in and ask Mark questions directly, by all means, feel free to jump in. I'm sure Mark will happily answer anything. So just for curiosity, Mark, do you have much of a backlog for the stuff that you're doing? Because you said you have multiple.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
How far out are you? How far out before you actually get stuff done?
I'm a few months out right now, for sure. Yeah, I have a CCM pump gun that a guy brought me from California that needs to be fully engraved front to back. I have a Inception fighter body, full size fighter body with all the bells and whistles that the guy wants fully engraved. I have a gun for Cocker Top. He bought a right feed Mark V, which is really rare because I'm about the only person that shoots a right feed that I know.
Right.
And but so I have him. He's getting a little engraving. I have another guy in Chicago that's getting a little engraving. So those will be done fairly soon and off to Anno. And then I have 2 slab side bodies here, one of which I'm going to try and get done for the Super Game next year in April.
Right.
And that gun is going to be, if you like the red and silver one, just wait. That's all I can say. Just wait.
All right. We got Jeff Thompson saying he can't come on because he's in the hot tub.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, that doesn't sound half bad.
Yeah, right. And we got Bailey saying quality takes time and money. Yes, it does.
Well, everything I do is hand done. I'm literally cutting with little blades like this.
Right.
Right. And so it just takes time. It just does.
Oh,
and
Hanson's gone.
And the hardest thing is really design, right? Coming up with something new to do on one of these guns every single time,
Right.
Because I like that process, but sometimes it takes a little while to be inspired.
I bet. If you ever have any questions about designs, don't hesitate to reach out to me because I come up with ideas.
Yeah.
Constantly. Like, ask any of my friends that know me well, and they'll tell you that I'll get locked on an idea. My head just spins so fast. I'm like, okay, here's an idea, here's an idea, here's an idea. And I throw away about 500 ideas a day. Like, it's just sort of like.
Well, and I'm trying to up it, right? There's a lot of awesome anodizers out there right now.
Right.
And they're making really beautiful guns. So I have to offer more than that. Right. And significantly more. Right. And I also, my guns are really limited. I sell my Mark Vs and I might sell 15 guns a year.
Right.
The people that get them really, really like them. And they shoot good. I'll just tell you, they shoot good, but they're really rare. At that big game, I met William Bailey. There was actually 7 Mark Vs there.
Nice.
That's the most I've ever seen in one spot. So
cool.
I should have a bunch of them. Sorry about the dog.
Yeah, it's fine. I like dogs.
Yeah. They think everybody's Al Qaeda that's outside.
Every little noise.
They're probably right. they're probably right.
Come here. Come on.
But hey, going back, you were talking about different paint. Like, I remember when I was first getting in and playing a lot, there's a sand dune. Sand dunes here is pretty local, and we had a friend that had kind of a farm junkyard and all kinds of different feeders and like old tractor parts and stuff. We'd play in there. And it seemed like everybody was shooting 98s and Walmart Monster Ball. That was miserable.
Monster Ball.
I don't think I've ever shot Walmart paint or Canadian Tire paint. Like, I've never bought paint from a store like that. Close. I bought paint from what's it called? Like little army surplus stores and paintball stores. But I've almost always bought my paint at the field, and I would order like cases in advance saying, okay, you've got new paint coming in, give me this, and this. Yeah, I've never bought paint from a chain, like a chain store.
Yeah, well, when the nearest field's 2 hours away and there's no shop anywhere near, it's like it's Walmart or nothing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Especially
I'm not criticizing.
Especially when you're a bunch of kids, like say like 13 to 16. I mean, it's what we had.
Yeah, no, hey, like I said, not criticizing. I just don't think I've ever owned it. I've seen it come out. Like I remember reffing the field, and somebody brought it out, and they're going, "Can we use this?" And I'm like, "No." And like field paint only. Like, oh, okay. And I remember looking it up and pulling it out, and it was just
rocks.
I'm not going to say they were square, but they were square. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't round. I don't know what shape they were, but there was too many flat spots for them to be round. So,
yeah, lots of big goose eggs all over.
Yeah.
That stuff was miserable.
Remember awesome. You remember Big Ball? Did you guys play with that?
Not up here so much.
So.
I remember it, but I remember seeing the ads for it.
That was just the worst paint ever.
See, I heard that about Bullseye. That was the worst paint.
Big Ball was it was bigger than normal, and it was always brown, which really sucks when you're playing in the woods.
Yeah,
you can't track that ball after 20 feet. Nothing. You might be hitting them. You don't know, right?
What color was the paint?
It was always really weak fill. Sometimes it'd be a reddish pink, sometimes an orange, but it was never bright. You know what I mean? It was always something that from a distance you probably wouldn't see it break unless it was on their goggles. Yeah, we shot a lot of that, but we loved Marbleizer. But back in the day, it was nothing to spend $125 for a case of paint.
Yeah.
I got out of paintball for a little while, and then when I got back in, like in 2015, and went to the first big NXL event here in Las Vegas, and we were buying paint, literally brand new cases, $25, right? Because the 5-man's only on Sunday, so we'd go up there on Saturday and buy paint from teams that didn't make the cut, and they can't fly home with it. But they paid $35. They paid $35 a case of paint. We never paid $35 for a case of paint, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a big day for us if we went to a 5-man event and shot 8 cases of paint in the whole event, right? The whole thing. And there's, guys playing X-Ball, they're shooting 25 cases of paint in a weekend, 25, 35 cases of paint. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember the first time I got invited to play for Boa Barrels.
Oh, I remember them.
Yeah. Dale is a great guy. I went looking for him to get him on the show. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, that's sad.
A few years ago, which really disappointed me. I would have liked to have talked to him again. He was hilarious. Old guy, funny, nicknamed Troll.
They were an offshoot.
On green.
Weren't they an offshoot of J&J? Like they worked for him for a while or something?
Not to my knowledge, but it's possible. But to my knowledge, no. Boa and J&J were just very similar in what they did.
Yeah.
But Boa barrels were almost all brass, and then they nickel plated them, and there was the Express and the Snake Bite. And man, I loved being sponsored by Boa. Anyway, I remember getting the first time. This was the very first time I was factory sponsored per se. Like, I'm at work, and I was supposed to be going away for the week to the cottage. My girlfriend, who lived in Ottawa at the time, was here at my house, and we were all packed up. We were ready to go, and I'm at work, and I worked till 11 that night, and I was supposed to get off work, go home. I was going to crash, and we were going to leave for the cottage first thing Saturday morning. And I'm at work and all of a sudden I get a phone call from Kennedy Howe saying, Steve, are you able to play this weekend? And like, I guess, like, what's going on? He's, well, Canadian Amateur Open at Wasaga Beach. I'm like, okay, maybe. He goes, okay, well, you're going to be getting a call. Answer your phone. Like, all right, fine, whatever. Like, because Kennedy was my team captain out of Michigan, which was Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get a call from Dale at Boa Barrels. Like, hey, it's Dale from Boa Barrels. Can you play with us this weekend? And I'm like, I guess. Like, what do I need? I'm all packed up to go to the cottage tomorrow. Like, what's going on? And I'm just asking questions. It's like, Steve, your hotel's paid for. The first 25 cases of paint are paid for. Your entrance fee is paid for. Grab your goggles, grab a gun, just grab what you need and get here. I'm like, all right. So I went, I cut out of work about 30 minutes early. I went home. I grabbed the girlfriend. We threw some stuff in the car and we drove to Wasaga Beach that night.
Now, how far was that?
I beg your pardon?
How far was the drive?
It's just a little over an hour and a half.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. But I mean, I rolled in after midnight and slept there at the field. Like,
all right, I'm going to have to jet. I got a phone call coming in.
All right, later, Brandon. Thanks for coming out. So, yeah, like it was.
Wasaga Beach was a big event, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember hearing about it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but they got a lot of teams at that event too, right?
Oh, yeah. Wasaga Beach was huge.
5-man, 10-man, or both?
Both, but it was majority 5-man. 10-man is not very big here in Canada, or it never was. I mean, we still had a few, but it wasn't huge. So there was some 10. If I remember correctly, there was some 10-man on Friday for certain teams, and then it was 5-man the rest of the weekend.
Do you remember 15-man paintball?
Vaguely. I started playing in 1989, and because I was in Canada, we were about 2 years behind you guys with a lot of the inventions. So I started playing in 89, and CO2, bulk CO2 tanks didn't really start showing up until, I'm going to say 91. And you guys had them, I believe, in 85. Like, you guys had some modified stuff, apparently.
Yeah.
With what Gramps and Grizzly were doing. Yeah. But, so I started with a 25-man challenge team, which was just fun play, and you would like challenge the team from another field, and you'd go back and forth. It wasn't a tournament or anything; it was just shits and giggles,
just for fun.
Yeah. And then from there, tournaments started picking up, and there was 10-man events, but there was 5-man events as well that was usually going on. But here in Canada, everything was mostly 5-man because we just didn't have the infrastructure for that many players, right?
It's hard to do 10-man.
Yes. You need a big field and you need a lot of big committed teams, and it's just up here it was difficult. So
well, and it's hard to put a 10-man team together, right?
Yes.
You know, like I played guitar for 48 years, right?
Okay.
And people are like, well, why aren't you in a band? I'm like, I was on a 5-man paintball team, and that was hard. Being in a band's harder, right? You know, find 4 or 5 other guys that don't have a wife problem, don't have a job problem, don't have a drinking problem, don't have a drug problem, you know, that are committed to something as a group. Right. Paintball's hard. Being in a band's even harder. So I just play to enjoy it, you know?
Yeah. So. Awesome.
10-man was drudgery trying to get 10 guys to go to a 10-man event.
I've never played 10-man in my life, and so last year I was supposed to play 10. I was talking to Tim Montresor, and I told him I never played 10-man. He goes, "Oh, we got to get you playing 10-man." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And he goes, "All right, well, you come to ICC, and I'll put you on a team, but I'm not telling you which one." Okay, sure. Yeah, like, you're going to slide me in the slot? He goes, yeah, I'm going to put you on an iconic team and you play. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm so good. And then ICC was canceled after his unfortunate passing, which just sucks. And then I was talking to his mom, Jennifer, and she was going through all his notes, and she's like, Steve, he was going to put you on the All-Americans, like the secondary team, like not the big, but yeah. And I was just like, oh man, that would nothing against the All-Americans. I shouldn't say nothing. I mean, I was always an Iron Man fan and Aftershock and whatnot. But to be able to wear the AAs on my jersey, that would have been dream come true.
Oh, I would have loved
this ICC. Yeah, I was supposed to be playing 5-man with Team Fox, and I'm like, okay, that's going to be great because Team Fox is the last remaining Airgun Designs Automag sponsored team,
who we used to play against a lot.
Right.
Right.
So I was supposed to be rocking out there to play that. And I get there and Kevin Donaldson's like, do you want to play 10-man on the Master Blasters?
Wow.
But unfortunately, I'd had to, because of COVID and stuff, I actually had to sleep on the floor of the airport, and my back was buggered. I could barely.
You're locked up there, bud.
Stand up straight though. Oh, and we're back.
Okay, we're back.
I don't know what happened. My screen just blacked out, so I guess I'm having an internet issue here. So, but yeah, so I was supposed to play with the Master Blasters and Team Fox this year, and I couldn't do it. So,
well, and I'm a little, I don't want to say concerned, but I'm going to be curious to see after the first of the year where we're at with this whole COVID fiasco, and are big events going to happen? Are we going to be more or less restricted? What's the deal? I know that WCPL is going to have an event in England, and for a while there, I mean, you weren't going to have an event in England because nobody from the United States could go.
Right.
And nobody from over there could come here.
Yeah. Well, Marcus Davis and Kevin Donaldson started the WCPL together, and then it's just exploded from there. Actually, if you watch the show from Mr. Fred and Friends from last night, Kevin was on and he talked about it quite a bit. I think at this point, the governments, I don't want to get too much into politics and stuff.
Yeah, me either.
I think at this point, the governments have pretty much given up on COVID. It's done what they needed to do, and I'm more concerned about what happens next. But I think this whole crisis, for the most part, is mostly past at this point.
I hope so.
Because, whether you believe in the shots or not is irrelevant at the end of the day. It's just the attack on our freedoms and whatnot that happened during the course of all this. I'm less concerned with now and more concerned with what they do for the next ugly, because now precedents have been set that are just unacceptable, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
So, but it is what it is. All right, Mark. Well, listen, I think I'm going to wrap this show up because that little internet spike kind of has me concerned.
Okay.
And so I think I'm going to wrap it. But man, was it ever great to meet you. I can't wait to shake your hand in person sometime in the near future. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I'd say I'd advertise for you, but honestly, your work advertises itself. And if you're 6 months behind, the last thing you need is more advertising.
Yeah, I don't like turning people away, but I do tell some people, this is going to take a while.
Right.
And people understand,
I think what I'm going to talk to you about in private after the fact is I think I'm going to try to figure out a way to get an engraved freak back of some sort. Because have you seen my mag?
No.
All right, 1 second.
Okay.
All right, so little backstory on this thing. I found it at a pawn shop with a TAC 1 body for $40.
Wow.
And I decided I was going to rebuild it. And I talked about it a bit on the show, and Mag Enthusiast just jumped all over me. And Rob Walker of Team Fox, when I was in Vegas, he's like, here, you got to come check out the new nail gun, which was an all carbon fiber mag, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I took a bunch of pictures, and I actually put it on the cover. Well, I shouldn't say I put it on the cover. John Amadea put it on the cover, but I wrote this huge article about airgun designs, and I brought airgun designs. Well, let's just put it this way. After my article, the price of airgun design parts jumped 25%. It was the first time an auto mag had been on the cover of a magazine in over a decade.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, Tim Glavin, who's now the guy in charge of mags or airgun designs, him and I got talking, and we're pretty good friends. And so I sent my thing to him and Jake and turned the $40 mag into this.
Wow, really nice.
So this is the beast.
Yeah.
Martin of the Booney Boys, one second, this is just loose. So Martin of the Booney Boys made me custom purple glitter grips.
Yeah.
That match the purple body. And yeah, so this got completely redone by Tim Glavin of Airgun Designs at Airgun Designs. And then from there, it went to Caesar, and he fully Caesarized it, boom treated it. Like, this thing is just, oh man. I don't know if you've had anything boom treated yet, but I highly recommend it. Like, it's wicked what it does. It changes the sound. If air efficiency goes up, like it's insane. And I know a lot of people out there saying, "Oh no, it doesn't work." I'm here to tell you that I've had before and I've had after, and it's wicked. Like, I'm just saying, I've been standing in tents with industry people that's cut off from the red general public, and they're like, this does this and this. Like, it's just awesome. But in any case, I don't have an actual barrel for this thing. So I have no idea what this back is. 1 second. Come on. Too many threads on an autocock.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what the back is, but this is a like new in the box original Freak.
Teardrop. Yep.
Tip. So I need to
Let me see the back. Let me see the back.
Okay, well, this doesn't fit. This slides in, but it won't thread.
Right.
I just use this for show, but I have no idea even what that barrel is.
I don't know what that barrel is. I have I may have a barrel back for you. Let me look.
So I'm just thinking that if I can get now I kind of like it black, but old school is like a silver or chrome. I'm kind of thinking
you can do black. We can get it engraved, and then you can anodize it black. My anodizer can do it for you, right?
Right.
And it ain't gonna cost a lot, and it looks super cool. One draw.
I just think it would look, just to have something that was all engraved as an accent to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, but here's the trick. So just think about this.
Sure.
Right. It would be better if you found a back up there that your tip screwed into, and then you screw it into your gun, and you mark the top, so I know exactly where the top is, so that when I do the engraving and you screw it in, it's going to line up.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes and no. I was thinking of something, just a very basic, generic engraving that goes around that wouldn't really affect.
I can do that. I can do that too.
Top or bottom, but.
Okay, I can do that too. That's not a problem.
Just very simple, old school, classic engraving. Like, it doesn't have to be anything super fancy. It's just.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and it doesn't actually have to be a freak back, like a technical freak back either. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of backs out there that have been engraved for various things. So.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right, my friend. Well, I am going to call it. Dude, it was so good meeting you and seeing your stuff. I've been drooling over your stuff, and I know I've messaged you from time to time on Facebook, just complimenting how amazing your stuff is.
Yeah.
Like,
I appreciate that.
That's just awesome.
When were you in Vegas?
Right before lockdown, so 2020.
Okay, because I live here in Vegas, so if you're ever in Vegas again.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I've been here 13 years. So if you ever come to Vegas or one of the big events or whatever, look me up. We'll go get some food or whatever.
Absolutely.
I know all the good spots.
When I was in Vegas last, I went with the I Remembered Foundation.
Yeah.
And Andy's best friend is a retired Vegas police officer. And so we were in a gated community. And I'm trying to remember what the sign said that was actually on the gate. It was awesome. It's I forget what it was, something from the homeowner association, but most of the homeowners are ex-military or ex-police and whatnot. And so it's basically, this is a firearms community. I'll have to figure out what that gate, I'll have to find that picture and send it to you, but it was hilarious. Anyway, we crashed at his place. And that was wild.
Yeah.
So,
well, you let me know. There's a lot of good food here and a lot of, there's a lot to do, but
yeah,
there's a lot to do off that strip, and the really good food is off the strip.
So. I bet I have no doubt that that's accurate. I have very little, when it comes to Vegas, I have very little interest in like the main strip where all the big hotels are. I mean, it's pretty and all, don't get me wrong. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I loved Fremont Street. That was just a riot. I was so glad to see. I mean, my back was hurting. I was in a lot of pain at the time, but which seems to be like an ongoing thing these days for me. But Fremont Street was just wild. Like
Fremont's
it's like Old Town in Florida, and it's just like I love stuff like that. But I would love to experience some of the stuff that Vegas has to offer. I have a lady friend that's a nurse out that way too, that she wants to take me and show me around. So maybe we can all just get together and just, I don't know.
Let me know, bud.
I very rarely these days travel solo. I mean, I always travel solo, but when I get there, there's usually a pack. So
yeah, I don't even know if they're having an NXL in Vegas this year. I don't know.
They're not. I don't know about 2022, but I know that there was no Vegas this year.
Yeah, in 2021 there wasn't, but I don't know I don't know where they are at. They usually have the Vegas one in March if they're going to have it. It's usually the first one.
Yes.
And it's a good event, right?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, but I guess we'll just have to see.
Absolutely. All right, Mark. Well, listen, I am so glad you jumped on. And thankful to Brandon and Robert and everybody that dropped in today. But man, I'm glad to meet you because your work is incredible.
Well, thank you. If you're ever having another one and people cancel, I'm usually not doing anything.
That's why you're backed up 6 months. Get to work.
Yeah, I'm usually sitting here engraving. Well, I do a Zoom meeting on Sunday nights with some other people, and I sit here and engrave while I'm talking to them. So
that must be annoying as hell for everybody else.
I mute the mic. I only turn it on when I'm talking. So
fair enough.
So we'll just sit and talk about stuff.
Cool.
So anyway, it's good to meet you too, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You have a great night. Bye now. All right, everybody. Well, that is my show for tonight, and wasn't what I expected, but I got to be honest, I quite enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for my guests that jumped on and joined in on the link. That was just great. Something I hadn't tried before, so this was a lot of fun. Great meeting Mark and all the fine things he does. Anyway, we'll see how things go next week after World Cup. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are going to want to tell stories, and there's going to be so much drama that happens this weekend, because there always is, because that's what Cup's all about. Everybody just giving everything they've got, and it's just always a riot. So kind of wish I was there. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out tonight. I'm just glad to be back online. New laptop, everything's nice and clean. The lighting seems to be better. I'll work on that a little bit more. and I'm going to work on getting a better camera, so it's a little bit better quality. Expect my backdrop to change in the near future as well. But yeah. Anyway, everybody, till then, next time, keep your paint dry, play with passion, and yeah, I'll see you all next week. Ciao.